I auditioned and then I screen tested for West Side Story. I auditioned the acting scene, and they liked it a lot. And then they wanted to see what I looked like on screen. And I and every brown-eyed girl and brunette girl in Hollywood tested for that. Everybody in the world tested for that. And I was the lucky one eventually, but it took a long time. They tested everybody. It's very difficult to find someone who can sing and dance and act and do all three at least fairly well. What they didn't know is that I hadn't danced since I was 16 at that time. Yeah, therein lies another story. Well, some were beautiful girls, and I was jealous and envious, thinking, the way Hollywood usually thinks, that if you're beautiful, you're going to get the part over someone who's less pretty, and can do the job. And every time I'd see one of those girls, I'd feel terribly threatened. But and it took a long time to find out that I had it. They weren't sure for a long time. Jerome Robbins and Robert Wise co-directed, and Jerry, of course, also choreographed. Robert Wise is the most gentle, tender, loving, patient man in the world. Jerome Robbins was cut from another piece of cloth entirely. He was not gentle, he was not tender. He had a vicious temper. He was extremely hard on the people he worked with. He was really hard. He could smell a victim a mile away. And he really could, as only sadistic people can be. But I would drop anything right now to work with him again. Well, he was like nobody else in the world. And when you pleased him, you felt so on top of the world. It was very hard to please him. But he had a very mean streak. And he was famous for that. Well, I didn't know it was going to be great. In fact, when I found out that they were going to initially show the film in one theater in New York at the Rivoli on a reserved seat basis, I said to George Chakiris, with whom I was very close, "Oh, well, that's it. We don't stand a chance." There were no stars in it. Natalie Wood wasn't a star. She wasn't a luminary. She'd done Splendor in the Grass, but that still didn't make her a star. And there was nobody else. Russ Tamblyn wasn't a star. He was known. That didn't make him a star. I certainly wasn't. George Chakiris, nobody had ever heard of. And I was absolutely sure that nobody was, number one, going to reserve a ticket and pay $6? Or was it $5 for a movie ticket? No. I was sure we were going to just plummet. And the one thing that never worked on film was the dance, the mambo at the gym sequence. It did not work on film. They did not find a way to make that work on film. That's really what you call a proscenium dance number, and I don't know why. Because it was widescreen, but it just never really worked. It didn't have the excitement, not half the excitement that the stage version had.